Hello again, welcome back. I considered changing shirts to look different on this one. Maybe I will for the next six. But, anyways, our second week was expectations. And so we talked with our residents about their expectations for this year as far as community goes. And I got to talk to three of my residents, which I think we were required to do anyways. But I talked to Andrew, I talked to Tommy, and I talked to Dylan. And each of them had somewhat similar, somewhat different answers for their expectations of the year and the community that they were in. And so I thought what was really one of the interesting conversations that I had was with Dylan. And that was, I talked to him about his expectations regarding his parents and how they kind of connected with his community here at college. And it was interesting to hear his take on how he thought, how his expectations pretty much met what he thought it was going to be like. He didn't really want his parents that much a part of his community, and they really haven't been. And so he really enjoys that. He likes his independence. And so that's cool to hear that his expectations lined up with reality, and that leaves him content. I also got to talk with Tommy, which I thought was interesting because he was a new resident on my floor from one of the other Barrett floors, and so him and Andrew both talked about how he kind of they expected there to be more community on their floors and more relating with one another, and I think it's interesting because I so wish for that. I so wish that everybody could be really, really great friends and just kind of that neighbor environment where, you know, you could knock on anyone's door for homework help, or which I'm sure people would love to help with one another with, but there just isn't quite those open relationships, or really like open doors, both literally and metaphorically in people's lives. And so I think part of the reason that community is just not quite what these residents expect or expected is, one, I think the scope of ASU is so large and it attracts so many students that are so incredibly diverse. And so these students want to find a community that they fit in with. And so they find community outside of the dorm hall because they fit in with students that maybe aren't their neighbor, but are, you know, live off campus or live in another dorm, which is great. I think that really increases their community and the amount of people that they know or have the opportunity to know. But I do wish that there was more of an opportunity for students to find a community within their floor as well. And so that the main consensus from the three boys that I talked to, Tommy, Andrew, and Dylan, were that they expected there to be really great friend groups in the dorms, and it seems as though Dylan has found that, which is really great. But Tommy and Andrew, not quite as much, and so they have their communities and they have their connections, but just not really on our floor. And so, yeah, that was interesting insight. My artifact for that was just my notes that I took about them, so I will send you over those as well.